Hey Recovery Warriors, my name is Marcy and I am a registered dietitian and nutrition therapist specializing in treating eating disorders in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I'm super excited to be here with you guys. I was recently invited to participate as a regular contributor here to Recovery Warriors on various topics of eating disorder recovery, and because I care a lot about food and nutrition and exercise and body image, I'm going to be covering a whole host of topics. So for today's topic, I'm going to be talking a lot about social media, which is a topic near and dear to my heart. I utilize social media quite a bit. Myself, I'm on Twitter at MarcyRD, that's spelled M-A-R-C-I-R-D. I have a Facebook page and I blog, and I find that social media is such a cool avenue to connect with other people who are also really passionate about eating disorders recovery. I've had a lot of really interesting professional opportunities that have come my way because of my social media presence. And I also talk about it with my clients because I feel like it's this area in which there's a ton of really great support online. And of course, as we know, our culture's media is filled with all kinds of stuff that is highly triggering, highly problematic, and can be highly derailing to your recovery. So I decided to speak on this today actually because I got a request online to talk about it. I put a tweet out a couple of weeks ago saying, hey, I love to do video blogs. What do you guys want to hear? And one of the requests that I got was to talk about and just sort of spread the word that some people might know and to kind of bring some awareness to the fact that pro-anorexia and pro-bulimia sites do exist. Now, I felt a little bit hesitant on how to address that. You know, they are out there. I think a lot of people are aware that they do exist. I think, unfortunately, when people are really struggling in their eating disorder, sometimes this is a place that they go. And so, yes, it's important to be aware that they are there, but even more important to know that there are so many places online that can support your recovery. And that's really what I want to talk about today, to really think about your own media literacy and your own ability to create a media culture and around you that really supports your recovery. It is true that toxic messages about food and weight and exercise are all around you. That is absolutely fact. And what is also true, and I was just talking about this with a client yesterday, is that I really believe that when someone sticks through their recovery process and gets to a really solid place in their recovery, whether they call it being in recovery or call it being recovered, but they're really in a solid place in their recovery, that they get to a place with their food and nutrition in their body that's really different than the cultural norm. You know, the cultural norm is really quite disordered. And so really I'm helping my clients to get to this place where they aren't a lot like the people around them. And that can be really, really tough. And the process of recovery can feel really isolating because having an eating disorder can be isolating in and of itself, but also landing in this place in recovery where you aren't going on a diet, where it's not okay for you to go hours without eating, where you aren't jumping on the newest sort of, paleo fix. You're not doing a diet cleanse. You're not talking about how much you hate your body. You're not slaving at the way, forcing yourself on the elliptical even though you hate it. These things that have become so normative in our culture. And so, how to really surround yourself with the things that are going to remind you you aren't the only one in this process, and that you are with a host of a lot of people who are actually pursuing the same journey. And the cool thing is that with all of this social media, this is really at your fingertips. So what I want all of you to do, and what I'm challenging you to do, is really think about your relationship to the types and kinds of media that you bring into your life. I want you to think about your Facebook feed. Really think about who you're friends with on Facebook and what messages you see on a daily basis. And evaluate, are there people that you need to defriend? And are there people that maybe you don't want to defriend? Maybe it's a cousin or, a longtime girlfriend from childhood that maybe you need to block. What about your Instagram feed? Like, do you need to take a break from Instagram? I think Instagram is feeling for a lot of people highly problematic. What about the shows that you watch on TV? Are you watching things where you are continuously watching the show and during the show and after the show that you're feeling a lot worse about yourself? What about the magazines that you buy? What about, of course, the things that you look up and the articles that you spend time reading online. That yes, it might feel important to you to read topics about nutrition and health and fitness because it's something that's important to you, but if it's crossing over into the world of that it's really affecting your eating disorder and profoundly ruining your mood and making you feel worse about yourself, that's something that you really need to evaluate. And what I highly recommend is intentionally setting a goal, and maybe for a period of time, maybe for a week, that you're going to say, hey, I'm intentionally going to read for 30 minutes from a blog or from a website or an article that absolutely clearly supports my recovery. So some of my favorite eating disorder blogs that support recovery is Ashley Solomon's Nourish the Soul. Let me pull up my little frame here to make sure I'm giving it correctly. So she's at nourishing-the-soul.com, but you can definitely Google Ashley Solomon, Nourishing the Soul. She's a wonderful therapist and a really beautiful writer. I think that Psychology Today, just going in there and getting in the topic of eating disorders, they have a handful of bloggers, all who are pretty fantastic. Harriet Brown, who I have the utmost respect for, has a blog specifically for families that I think is really amazing, and I'm really also appreciative of Emily, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, who keeps the blog called The Hunger Artist, where she talks specifically about winning the battle against anorexia. Some really good stuff in there. And then I love, love, love the writing of Reagan Chastain, who keeps the blog Dances with Fat. It's a WordPress blog where she's incredibly smart and brings in a lot of research and has such a way with words and is really talented and not afraid to take on some of the most challenging of topics. So those are just a sprinkling of some of the blogs that I think are fantastic. I blog, I have other colleagues that blog, that once you get into this little niche world and intentionally spend your time there, you might see that your own perspective of where you fit in this world when you're feeling like a total anomaly trying to do this crazy recovery process, that you're not the only one doing it. And from a neurobiological standpoint, that's actually really important because we have evolved to be designed to want to fit in, to want to be in with a tribe and in with a clan. And if you can put yourself in with a clan and a tribe of other people who are fighting the good fight of recovering from an eating disorder, fighting the good fight of body acceptance, you are going to feel a lot better in your process. So I hope that I've given you some good things to think about. I hope that you enjoyed my very first video blog, and I'm going to have a lot of fun sharing and learning with each of you. So in the comments section, I would love it if you would share one or two of your favorite pro-recovery blogs, articles, books, anything else that you can think of, and let's get excited about what exists and what is also already out there and already written. And I'm going to look forward to continuing to learn from you guys along the way. And if you have anything specifically that you want me to talk about as a registered dietitian and as someone who has a background in exercise, I am a certified personal trainer, that's specific to your eating disorder recovery, I would love to respond to your questions. So please send me ideas of things that I can talk about. You can leave it in the comment section, or you can send me an email to my email address, which is my first name, Marci, spelled M-A-R-C-I, at marcird.com, or you can visit my website, which is marcird.com. Thanks so much, and I hope you guys have a really fantastic day. Take care.